Hello, this is Robert Ferguson. You're a nutritionist. And if you're here for the first time, I want to say thank you for being here. And I also want to encourage you to go to our YouTube channel. And when you go there, make sure you click like, subscribe, hit the bell so that whenever I share information, you are informed. And I want you to be informed. I really, really do. Now, this morning, I had a really good conversation with my mom. And I need to have my mom on one of these impromptu shares, which I'm going to do soon because we have great conversation and we're always talking about nutrition. And today, she was sharing with me about someone else dying that I knew, and someone else dying that she knew that I remembered, and someone else getting cancer, and then someone else dying. And what we're starting to see more and more is that more people today than ever are being diagnosed with various cancers. More today than ever, people are dying from heart disease, heart attacks, strokes. And even when you hear people with diabetes, type 2 diabetes, you sit back and you think, are they going to die from type 2 diabetes? No. You never see someone like an obituary saying, Johnny died from type 2 diabetes. What happens is type 2 diabetes is a precursor to stroke, to heart attack, and various other health conditions. And what I see on a regular basis, and especially since being in this space for a long time and just watching people, is that almost all of it is lifestyle slash nutrition related, meaning it's preventable. But you gotta open your damn mind and be open to looking at things differently. For those of you over the age of 40, a lot of you in your 50s, you're going to see in the next year, 2 years, way more people that you knew dying, like out of nowhere. It's already happening. It just hasn't hit home with you yet. And unfortunately, it could be you. So I want to share with you just some information, some knowledge to help you get it together, right? Because people are walking around and living life in full denial. They don't even want to know the truth. Like there's people who will be catching me share this, and based on what I just said, they will opt out. And I get it because they don't want to think about it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to be scared. They don't want to be afraid. And the reality is, the more you embrace what I'm sharing with you right now, then you're aware and you can do something about it. Now, I have family members, I have close friends. They're struggling with their weight. They're struggling with their health. They're coming down with many conditions that require them to take medications. They watch me do posts on Facebook and YouTube where I'm helping reverse type 2 diabetes. I'm getting people off statins. I'm helping people get off blood pressure medication. They're getting off diabetic drugs like metformin. And they sit back and they just keep watching and watching and do nothing. And I understand confirmation bias because most people in their own mind will come up with their own idea of what is going to happen if they were to reach out. It's like they already have assumed how I would help them, and it has nothing to do with what they're thinking. Like how I help people is not about avoiding certain foods. I help people by meeting them right where they are and then giving them the truth, sharing the truth, right? So there's people right now who are going to continue eating certain foods, certain ingredients that I'll share with you before I get off, that we know 100% causes cancer. There's no scientist that will deny it. But it's in the food supply, and people are walking around and they don't even know about it. They don't even know about it. It's such an injustice that people are not aware of what I'm aware of. Now, that would be the same as like I've had many great, not many, in my life, I think 3 accountants I've worked with for my business over the years. And I'll read things about accounting and I'll hear things about accounting. And I've learned some things, because you go in and you do your taxes and you learn, but I'm not an accountant. I don't understand the depths of what they understand when it comes to accounting. And that's the same when it comes to nutrition. Many people don't know the depths of where we can take someone and help them become aware. And when you're aware, you're no longer ignorant, right? We want to be aware. So then you have the option. If you want to slowly kill yourself, or bring about cancer, or stay stuck with being overweight, hey, that's on you. And that's your thing. Do your thing. But if you could become aware and you could avoid some of those challenges, why wouldn't you? Seriously, like why wouldn't you? So when I was talking to my mom, she asked me about this product called Wheat Germ. And she says, yeah, I'm not eating as many vegetables as I was eating. And what do you think about Wheat Germ? And I go, well, I don't know what you're talking about. You need to take a picture of this wheat germ. I need to see the ingredients of this wheat germ, and then I can give you a general recommendation. Now, I bring that up because I said, Mom, I've been helping people in this space, and I'm educated in this space of nutrition, weight loss, and health. I've done 2 evidence-based clinical studies. I know this space extremely well. I've helped thousands of people over the years. And I said, now, based on what you know about me and what I just reminded you of, if wheat germ was all that, do you think I would be taking wheat germ? And she goes, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, but am I taking wheat germ? Am I using wheat germ? She goes, no. Exactly. It's like, why? So you're doing something because it's called marketing that I don't have any interest in that. I'm going to do what I know to be true, and I'm going to recommend to my loved ones and people I work with. I'm going to recommend stuff that I know to be true. And if I discover that it's not true, I have no problem raising my hand and saying, hey, I was given wrong information. I understood it wrong, and here's where we need to make some changes. So then I asked my mom, I said, so Mom, I said, what do you think is causing all these new cancers and these, like, the people having heart disease, and even though the government's been aware of this, since the American Heart Association got their big money from Procter and Gamble in 1948, they've been and they're still the largest grossing income. They get the most income of any nonprofit in America. So they're killing it. They tell you what's healthy, what's not, and they also promote certain things that I'm fully not in agreement with. So they come out, and we have this major awareness about heart disease, but yet everything that they had recommended, everything that we have in place, all the awareness about being healthier, we continue to see more and more and more cases of heart disease. All the talk about cancer, all the talk about organic, all the talk about exercise, and we continue to see more and more cases of cancer. I don't know about you, but let's wake up. Okay, let's wake up. I know one of the primary reasons we're seeing more heart disease and why we're seeing more cancers. And if you want to reduce your likelihood of heart disease or cancer, then you would want to know what I'm sharing. And so get our newsletter, because in the next newsletter that goes out, and I think I'm going to make it just an ongoing thing for people to download. So anytime people get our newsletter, I'm going to have it in there because it's that important. And that is knowing what ingredients, and it's not sugar, but knowing what ingredients I believe, and the science is totally supporting, is causing all these problems. And once you know what to avoid and what would be a better replacement, the enjoyment of the food, nothing's changed, then you can put yourself in a healthier place. So when I was sharing that, my mom was like, well, yeah, I want to know, which I've shared that with my mom. And a lot of it really does come down to vegetable and seed oils. They're pro-inflammatory. We know they cause cancer. They're toxic in the body. And here's the craziest part about it all is that you can go to the Harvard Medical Group website. You can go to the American Heart Association. You can go to the American Diabetes Association. You can go to the Mayo Clinic. And the list goes on. And they all give a thumbs up. They give an endorsement for these seed and vegetable oils. Wow. So on one side, you have these leaders who I call they are saying to eat more of this and less of certain things like butter and lard and tallow, which the flip of that would be accurate. We would be healthier if we were cooking in butter and not eating as much of the grapeseed oils and the safflower oils and the canola oils. And we went more with a stable, healthier oil. But there's so much hypocrisy around it because there's money around it that people, the average person, does not get the truth. It's time for the truth. And I want you to know the truth. So I asked my mom this question. I said, Mom, let's say that you wanted to cut down on these vegetable oils. You didn't want to eat as many of them, and we know that it causes cancer, and you've been there 3 times, and we want to be healthy. And I said, Mom, which would be healthier for you to eat? Steak or chicken breast? And my mom said, chicken breast, of course. And I says, no, steak. So then she goes, well, that kind of goes against everything. I said, yeah, but what does it go against? She goes, well, I thought eating chicken breast would be healthier than eating steak. And I said, well, who told you that? And she goes, well, they. I go, well, who is they? Right? like really, who is they? And then she said, the government. I said, okay. Well, if you look at 1980, when the U.S. dietary guidelines, the pyramid, was first introduced in 1980. There was other versions before that, but in 1980, we created some consistency, right? And since 1980, every 5 years, they do a review and update the U.S. dietary guidelines. Well, since 1980 to where we are at this very moment, heart disease has continuously increased. Obesity has continued to increase. Cancers have continuously increased. Everything's gotten worse as we introduce the guidelines. And then I'll have people say, well, I don't eat according to the guidelines. I go, yeah, but you're missing the importance of institutionalized nutrition, right? Because when you look at it from an institutionalized standpoint, if you look at prisons, they must follow the U.S. dietary guidelines. So the food is given to these inmates is based on the U.S. dietary guidelines. So if the U.S. dietary guidelines are flawed, then those people, the recipients of that food, they're getting flawed food. They're getting food that is not helping their longevity and their overall health. And it's not just prisons. If you're in a hospital, ever complain about the hospital? That's based on the U.S. dietary guidelines. If you go to assisted living, you put your parents in a home and they're getting, 3 meals a day, that's institutionalized nutrition. That's all U.S. dietary guidelines. So they're getting the oils that I'm saying to avoid. They're getting a massive amount of processed food to include more carbs than anything. And we wonder why they're getting sicker. We wonder why they're getting more cancer. We wonder why many of them battled when they got the virus. And when you look at the schools, whether it's college, whether it's junior high, high school, again, institutionalized nutrition, they must follow. So the U.S. dietary guidelines impacts a lot of people, a lot of people. So when I asked my mom which one is healthier, the chicken or the steak, she said the chicken. I said, no, the steak would be. And she goes, well, how is that? And I said, that's a great question. And more people would benefit from questioning things. And I said, well, when you look at the fat in a steak, it's going to be primarily made up of saturated fat, and a fat that's stable, that is not associated with all these health negatives. When you look at the fat in the chicken, think about the fact that that cow, for instance, was eating a lot of grass. Okay, and sometimes they're eating some corn and all that, but let's say they're eating a lot of grass. Well, this chicken, what is it eating? A lot of soybean, a lot of manufactured food. They'll eat anything, chickens. So the chicken is made up of this unhealthy fat that you also get inside of these oils. Now, I'm not saying to avoid chicken and don't eat it, but I'm just saying at that moment, if I was a cancer patient, am I going to eat chicken breast or am I going to have like a piece of steak? I would have the cancer patient do the steak instead of the chicken breast, because we want to eat less of those negative oils. Okay, less of those negative oils. This is like critical, you guys. What I'm sharing with you is stuff that you can't just find anywhere. And I am on a mission, and I'm going to be doing more things. I have a documentary we're shooting. I have a lot going on where I'm going to expose a lot of this craziness is out there and be able to share information that can help people, information that is useful. Now, hear me. In my own family, I have people that are suffering from various medications, suffering from obesity, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And it's the lack of humility that will block even family members from coming to the truth. And confirmation bias, because they don't know exactly what I do, but that may block them because they will have presumptions. And it's very sad when you lose a friend, you lose a family member, and you lose them prematurely. And I've lost quite a few friends and family members over the last 5-10 years from conditions and situations that were 100% preventable. 100% preventable. So then the question is, in the last year, if I helped 12 people reverse their type 2 diabetes, meaning they were type 2 diabetic and today they're not, and you know me and you're a family member, or you're a friend, or you're a neighbor, and you have type 2 diabetes, what the hell is going on with you to not call me so we can get you the same results of some of my clients? Is it that you don't have money? Okay, then let's figure that out. Is it ego? It's mostly ego. It's a sign that I experienced many years ago when I was doing a lot of work in rape and assault prevention, is that people don't like to ask for help. The best fighters, and I've been a fighter, a pro fighter in my life. I've been a martial artist my entire life. The ones who have been the most skilled were also the most humble. There's power in being humble. Now, some of you are going to put off taking care of yourself, making changes, doing that. I don't know why we do that. I mean, I don't get it. But some of you are going to be like, thank you, Robert, for the message, because I need to take this. Yes, you do need to take it seriously. Yes, you do. Because you're eating stuff today that we 100% know causes cancer. We know it. It's not even up for debate. The real question around some of this stuff that we're eating is, why is the government letting it in our food supply? Well, trans fats was in our food supply from 1911, increasingly over the years, really increased big time in the 50s to 2018, before the FDA stepped up and said it's harmful for our health. They knew it was harmful for our health, but yet it was still in the food supply and we were eating it on a regular basis. And in 1995, when I got into this game of nutrition, I was preaching this. And the cool part is all documented. I was preaching it. I remember not until like 2002 did Dr. Oz even know about what a trans fat was. So 7 years before Dr. Oz even had a platform, I was doing everything I could to help people realize, hey, trans fats are not a good thing. And the government has acknowledged the reality that many people died prematurely because of trans fats. Well, there's a lot of other stuff in our food supply, and it's going to stay in the food supply because people are making money. And our ignorant people, the people who don't want to learn this stuff and want to be informed, just want to stay in the dark, even the ones who look fit on the outside, thankfully they work out, and that's helping them at least look the part. But a lot of healthy looking people are dying of cancer and having heart attacks too. You'll see more of that. Then people will have conspiracy ideas thinking it's okay, it's because of the COVID or something that they took or didn't take. I'm telling you right now, there's a whole bunch of deception out there, and they don't want you to know what I'm sharing with you. So when you get my newsletter, at least you can get a list. I put together a list of 9 categories of fats, oils that I'm not saying avoid it for 100% because that's very difficult to do, but at least become aware of it, cut back on your consumption of it, choose products that don't have it, and that will go a long, long way. Because many of you are having a struggle with losing weight because of the foods that you're eating and the ingredients that you're consuming. And you want to become aware of that so you can avoid those things. Many of you are having challenges with insulin resistance, and you'll have a lot of marketers out there saying, hey, come over here, we have a pill. That's not how you fix insulin resistance. So you'll fall prey to that. A lot of people are starting to hear more and more about the gut microbiome, gut health, and you hear a lot of people promoting products for gut health. Again, you're being hoodwinked. You're being like lied to. They're taking advantage of you because of your lack of knowledge. If a product is all that, whether I make money on it or not, I'm going to share it with my clients. There's a yogurt right now that is available in almost every grocery store. Every grocery store. And if you eat it every day as a snack, a certain brand, I'm not going to mention the name. Now, if you're in our community, I'll share the name, but I'm not just going to like throw it out there. Actually, I did advise not to do that. But there is a product that I will make available. If you email me directly, message me, I will tell you exactly what it is. But there is a product, and a dear friend of mine did all the testing on it, who is a leader when it comes to the gut microbiome. And this product is proven to increase a certain bacteria that 100% is the foundation for your immune system. And because it's the foundation of your immune system, it helps to grow that family of bacteria. Then you are less likely to attract certain cancers, to experience severity when you get certain conditions. It is a win, 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 win for you. That's powerful. Be informed. If you're not informed, you will be influenced by those who are misinformed. The people who are selling the wheat germ and a whole bunch of these other products that are out there, they're just selling it because they were told that it's healthy, and why not help other people and make money? So they're just going to keep helping and selling and helping and selling because they believe that product's legit. They're not going to outside sources or other partners to find out if it's true or not. It really is driving me crazy. It really is. We have to get the word out. Now, you can't convince people. I mean, those are amazing words that I got from Harriet Tubman. She once was quoted for saying, if I could have convinced more slaves that they were slaves, I could have saved thousands more. So the approach of convincing people, I'm not in that. That's a headache. But persuade people, educate people, give them the information so they can make better decisions for themselves. That's why I have a new podcast called Body Politics, because that is the goal of that show, is to give people accurate information so they can make their own decisions on what's going to be best for them. So, what's the take home? There's not really a take home today, I guess, because I touched on a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, it's about taking your health seriously and doing something about it. Seriously. There's people who don't even want to look at their fasting glucose numbers in the morning because they're afraid of what it's going to say. There's people who won't go and get their lab work because they're afraid what it's going to tell them. There's people who will continue not to get their screenings for colon cancer because they don't want to know. I had a friend who was a best friend of my sister growing up, and her name is Lisa. And Lisa was always very nice to me. She was like another extra sister. And Lisa had experienced breast cancer, and it was a horrible experience for her, which it is for millions of others. And years went by, and she got a lump under her arm. And she felt that that's not a good thing, but she didn't want to go and find out what it was. So her fear blocked her from going to get it checked out. Well, then the lump got so big and became so painful that she had to go in. So she was at her house with one of her dear friends, and this guy was like, "We got to go. Let's go get this checked out." So they go to the hospital. They go to the emergency. They look at it, the doctors. They come back and tell her that it is cancer, and it's progressed so much, there's nothing we can do. So they sent her back home. That's all they could do. She went back home, and she died that night. And what's even crazier on top of that, he died that night, her friend. He had a brain hemorrhage. Could have been caused from the stress, but they both died. The thing that stopped her from doing something about her cancer is that she didn't want to deal with it, and she kept letting other things get in the way of dealing with it. There are people who will hear me talk about nutrition, and they will put it off and put it off and put it off. And then some of them will put it off thinking, well, before I call Robert or before I get with like this new program or get with the coach, let me lose some weight first. And many of those people die. What, a month ago, one of my dear friends from college, he kept putting it off, putting it off, putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. I talked to him on Tuesday. On Thursday, his wife calls me and says he died of a massive heart attack last night. I just talked to him 48 hours ago. Now, some people don't want to live. Mental health is real, and they just want to just be miserable. But most of us who are hearing this message or anything that I share, we want to live and we want to have like the most quality possible. Well, Hippocrates said it a long time ago. Let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. He also said that all disease begins in the gut. You want accurate information. There's a lot of people out there talking. Don't get caught up in the hype. And if you're talking to me and working with me, this ain't hype. Everything I do, we have white papers, is all substantiated. We have studies that support everything we do, and we have 2 evidence-based and clinically proven outcomes of the work that we've done with third parties. So we've done our work, and now the goal is to start sharing that work and to help people cut through the confusion, because there's too many people talking and it ain't real. So with my mom, I said, Mom, am I going to go buy wheat germ? She goes, no. I said, well, I don't need wheat germ. If it's all that, then it's all that. Right? So there's a supplement that I believe is all that. It's a liquid collagen. I've been aware of it for a long time. It's a really good product. I've observed people getting amazing outcomes. I've seen the studies and the data that supports all of the claims, and I can stand by that. And it's a supplement. So I'm not against supplements. This is a supplement that they did their due diligence, and it's a product that works. Same as I look at the Diet for Life methodology. I'll meet people and say, well, I'm going to do Weight Watchers. Oh, I'm okay. Hey, God bless you, and go do your thing. But at the end of the day, I know that the Diet for Life methodology is the real deal. I have not seen anything that can come close to it. And that's not putting down other things. It's the real deal. So it's one of those things where, I mean, we can acknowledge the truth for what it is, or we can be in denial, but it's the truth. You know, and when I meet other nutritionists and dietitians, and they learn about Diet for Life, and they're like, well, you know, your program is good, but, you know, I don't have to really, like, you know, I could kind of do your own thing. But at the end of the day, you're still going to be teaching Diet for Life because it's the real deal. It's what else can I say? And it's about to become even more real as it becomes more popular. So anyway, I guess my take home message for you today would be my impromptu. And I definitely got to bring my mom on. You guys are going to get a kick because I've shared things with her over the past, and then for some reason, maybe she forgets, but she does represent the average person out there. And my mom does listen to me because I'm her son. But she's great, and I think it would be good for me to have her on some of these impromptus. Like maybe I'll do Mondays with Mom. You know, actually that's a good idea. And we can just talk about one or two things, and I can get her interaction because she's not knowledgeable in this, right? She's not a nutritionist. She's a woman in her 70s who's lived life and knows quite a few things, but she's real. And she'll have questions that a lot of people would probably have, and I probably would have never even thought about asking. So having her would be like, okay, we're going to go ground zero, and then it gives me a chance to really like, okay, you know, let's go slow, let's break it down. You know what I mean? So, you know what? I think I'm talking myself, as I'm doing this talk with you guys, I'm talking myself into doing that. So I'm going to reach out to my mom, and we're going to see if I can get my mom to do like, you know, a talk with her son on Mondays. Right? And you guys will find it very, I mean, it's one of those things where I don't even have to, it's just going to be entertaining. It will just be entertaining. So anyway. All right. Well, anyway, I saw a few little notes here. Let's see here. Someone on Facebook, I believe, said, somewhere they said the doctor told my mom post heart attack to use canola. Well, there you go. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Remember, Dr. Bernadette Anderson, who I consider a friend, I worked with years ago. She was very successful with Diet for Life. She lost 165 pounds. And one of many things she shared that I will forever be thankful is she was so focused that people, we need to become our own health advocates. Yes, that's a great message. And I need to reach out to her and see where she's at with it. What's up there, Joyce Hicks? Thank you for being here. I'm glad you caught me doing it live. And then we got Sandy Silver. What's up, Sandy? Sandy says, wow, that's crazy how we are brainwashed. Thank you for always sharing. It's the truth. And again, and thank you, Sandy. But you can go and Google anything that I mentioned. And if you don't find a study or something to substantiate it, let me know. Email me and I'll send you the damn study. Because I'm not just making up stuff. This is all factual stuff. You know, I'm just going to always tell the truth. Someone else on Facebook said that personal trainers are taught to follow government food recommendations. Well, personal trainers really aren't in a position to give advice when it comes to nutrition. They're supposed to focus on fitness. But it is accurate that a personal trainer who's a true professional would say, go to the government guidelines for some recommendations. That's what they're supposed to do, and it protects them by doing that. Sandy also said, I cut out, I'm believing, the seed and vegetable oils, and the weight started coming off again. It's crazy. The government is out to kill us. Well, they're not in our corner. And my dear friend Valerie, what's up? So I hope Valerie caught this live, but Valerie is great. That's one of my partners, and we have a project we're doing together, which she's making it all happen, and I'm forever thankful for that. And I can't wait for us to be able to get the word out. And what's up, DD? What's up? We got big things happening, so let's keep it moving. Anyway, thanks you guys for listening in. Remember, you can always catch the replay. Just let it play. Let it play on your phone. Let it play on your computer. Let it play on your TV. And just listen while you're washing the dishes or, thinking about what you're going to do for the day. Get the information. And sometimes I'm a little long-winded, but my goal is to share information that I believe will be helpful for you at the moment. So again, in closing, more people today, and you can go to the CDC to confirm this, are dying of cancer as well as heart disease, more today than ever. We saw an influx as a result of the pandemic. People were at home, people were eating more. All of that is substantiated in real data, but it's time for a change. And the good news is that when you talk about the gut health, you can improve your gut health in one day. And that's scientifically supported. So what you eat today plays a huge role in what your gut health looks like tomorrow. Seriously. So if you're ever feeling bad, or if you ever feel like you got off, or if you ever feel like you're struggling, with your next meal, your next snack, you're back on track. We know that scientifically you can improve the strength of your immune system, your gut health, in 24 hours. And then if you stay consistent with whatever you're doing, then you constantly are nurturing healthy gut health. And when you're helping your gut health, then you can better deal with all the other things you want to improve. All right. Thank you for your time. You guys enjoy your day. Thank you for those of you who caught the replay. And if you have the time and you can help me spread the word, then please share, help me get the word out so that more people can become informed. And then they're less likely to be influenced by those who are misinformed.